Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you happen to be on this planet, on the internet, Denzians of the internet. I'm Andrew McAllister. I'm your host of Desk Lunch. It's 12 lunchtime Eastern time. And first, I want to acknowledge that we are on the traditional territories in Toronto, Canada. We are on the ancestral and traditional territories of the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Haudenosaunee, the Anishinaabe, and the Huron-Wendat, who are the original owners and custodians on the land in which we live, work, and create. So I'm your host, Andrew McAllister, and I love to help people be creative with technology. I work at OCAD University. I'm an Adobe education leader, and I love helping people. And it's a good time. Yeah, I enjoy it very much. So with that, I'm just going to actually switch over. So what are we talking about today? So today, I will be talking about practical advice for field recording. So what is field recording? Recording, going out into the field with microphones and recording ambient audio, either for the purpose of creating backgrounds for your videos or as a creative practice for using those sounds to contribute to sound design or a piece of music or a piece of sound art. And definitely that's something that I enjoy doing. And for a long time, much like one can walk around with a camera through the city and take pictures of like street life, you can do the same thing with a microphone. And there's been a long history of not just recording musicians, but recording ambient sounds. And I believe, actually, I didn't do any research on this, but like there's a long history of national institutions in Canada and the US are recording sounds of nature, sounds of cities, and so on, and archiving those and using them. Why would you want to do this? Well, I think it's a pretty interesting activity, and I was really inspired by a fellow by the name of Ben Jordan, who has a fantastic YouTube channel. And actually, I'm going to share the link in the chat. I'm just going to grab that and grab that in the chat. So Ben Jordan has this great YouTube channel, and he posted this video of going way out into the forest to record sounds without kind of human noise pollution, because people are everywhere, and people are lovely and wonderful. And however, we do make a lot of noise, and there's always a lot of background noise. And so he had this great video where he goes out and shows riding on a bicycle, an electric bike, actually, for quite a long ways into the forest to record some great stuff, and how that worked out. But he did not in the video show in any detail any of the equipment that he used necessarily, or how he went about recording that audio to get great audio. And so I thought, okay, well, I'm just going to take all the tools at my disposal, and I'm going to do my best to try to see how to do this, do a few things right, do a few wrong things, and see how that goes. I'm just going to check my audio. I see that my microphone is only in one channel. I'm just going to turn this on and off again. Boop. Check. Yeah, very strange. Anyway, well, we'll see. Yeah, it's the right device, that's for sure. Okay, so check the advanced audio properties. Nope. Okay. So with that, actually, I'm going to dive right in. I'm going to show you how I did this with the iPhone and the Rode Video Micro, the Zoom H4 and the Zoom F4 with a shotgun. So I'm going to go from like kind of like a low end, like a $99 solution for doing this, up to like kind of more dedicated recorders. And funny enough, a lot of the concerns that I ran into have a lot less to do with the equipment you use. First of all, oh, and then, you know, can you get usable results? Because the other thing too was I had very little time to, I don't I didn't have the opportunity to like get in my car and drive far away. Busy times. It's weird times, actually. Just for context, in Toronto, Canada, the pandemic is. Folks are saying that things are getting a little out of control. So unfortunately, driving off into places where you probably shouldn't be going. I mean, you can go on nature walks and things, but we're supposed to be sort of sticking close to home. So I went down to a kind of park, which is kind of like a nature reserve called Tommy Thompson Park, which is near me. It's built on landfill. A lot of people use it for cycling, but a lot of people use it for bird watching. It's a great place. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to...
Grammarly can help you write quickly.
Oh my God. Excuse me. So what I'm going to do is actually flip over to my main screen. And actually, no, first I want to focus on devices. So I'm going to switch over to my main cam. So first of all, the simplest thing to use is a Rode Video Micro. Whoop. So these are great. They're reasonably priced, and they come not only with a lyre or the shock mount. Whoop, 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 whoop. Very good. These are great shock mounts. They're very rigid. And the dead cat, which are great for wind. The second device that I used was I have a Zoom H4. This is one of the original ones. It looks terrifying. And I used it with a foam windscreen, which I've now, of course, lost because it has no way to stay on there. So it has these stereo XY microphones on the top that are built in, but you can also plug in other microphones on the bottom. Plasticky, the right price. I think I bought this in 2006, maybe? Anyway, it has seen lots of use. I'm amazed it still works. And then the last thing I used, which I kind of can't show you, is my Zoom F4, which is a very recent field recorder made for sort of indie film. And it's I'm actually using it right now as a USB interface. It's great. It can be battery powered. The batteries last a long time. And I used a Audio-Technica stereo shotgun microphone, which I'll just pull out here. I bought this a long time ago. The great thing about microphones is they kind of they don't go bad. So if you make an investment in a good microphone and you look after it, I don't want to say that they last forever, but they last for a good old long time. And this microphone, I think I paid, it was quite a, oh, come on. It's because it's focusing on my eyes. Anyway, you get the idea. Anyway, this is a stereo shotgun. What's particularly interesting about, and I bought this for that reason, it has some nice switches on here where you can select the modes. It has a low pass filter. So by it being a stereo shotgun, the way that it works is there's it uses something called mid-side recording technology. So there's an element that faces forward, which is a cardioid element. And then there is an element here, which is a figure 8 element. So it records a lobe of sound here and a lobe of sound here. And in this microphone, and most stereo shotgun microphones work in this fashion, and you can send the audio as what's called mid-side, which is unencoded, meaning one channel is just this mic and one channel is just this mic. And then what you have to do is, I'm going to show you how to use those two audio files to put it together and make it stereo. But there are settings on here that say left, right, wide, and left, right, narrow. So you can actually just internally matrix the audio in here so that you get a stereo audio track. The problem with that is that that's destructive, and you can't change the width of the stereo field once you've recorded it. So that's a bummer. But I didn't use it with the foam windscreen. I used it with this dead cat. So this is a Rycote Softy. New Mills Glad Road, Stroud in England. Amazing. And it works well, but with caveats. So I don't have a blimp, those big things that they use in electronic news gathering and also on outdoor film sets. I never purchased one of those because I thought it was a little too much. It's a little too much stuff. However, I may yet invest in one, and I'll explain why. So let's actually just take a look at what we're doing here in Audition. And I've got a variety of files. So I've got 3 different sets of files. I've got files from the F4, which is the shotgun. I got some files from this guy, and I've got one file with this guy. So let's start at the low end, and let's just listen to. So what I was capturing was bird sounds. Bird sounds. Sounds of the waves, anything that I could that was just like general ambience, with trying to maybe stay away from people. So the first thing I realized is Ben Jordan is right. Some sounds are so quiet, like especially bird sounds. If there's any person like within, honestly, 250 meters, you can hear them. And, when people exercise and so on, they want to chit chat with their friends, and so you pick all that information up. But anyway, here it goes. Here's from the road, and this is just waves.
Check, check, check.
So that's me actually just adjusting the audio gain on my phone. So I recorded it from the road into my phone using Apogee Meta Recorder. So actually, sounds pretty good. In fact, if you look at the frequency analysis here on the left-hand side, so if you've not seen one of these before, this is our spectrum analyzer. So here we have the lowest sounds, and at the right we have the highest sounds. And you can see below 100 hertz, and my apologies, if you're listening to this on your laptop speakers, there's things in this episode that you're not going to hear. And even if you're wearing earbuds, probably, because your earbuds will not resolve content really below 100 hertz. Reverb Mike is here, waiting on the wind to tell my side. Reverb Mike, I'm so glad that you've joined me. I'm alone. Thank you very much. So if you're wearing earbuds, you're not going to hear a gosh darn thing. But actually also too, I'm surprised that the Rode Video Micro actually picks up this much information. And what you are going to hear largely in many of these situations, recording outside, is low frequency rumble. I believe the frequency response of the Rode Video Micro does drop off in the low end, although it doesn't look like it here from the graph. So really, ordinarily, you would probably at this point drop in an EQ. So I'm gonna, as much as possible, try and use some of the native plugins that are included in Audition, so that if you have Audition, you can use this as well. So I'm just going to pull up the parametric equalizer. This is most useful to me. And the first thing I'm going to do is actually defeat all the bands I don't need, because there's nothing like grabbing the wrong handle when you don't want it. It's funny that actually all the bands are enabled, but none of the high pass or low pass filters are enabled by default. But anyway, there's a tapping sound. Oh, in the audio? Ruh-roh. Okay. Is there a tapping sound in my audio through the stream? Let me have a listen. Ruh-roh. Uh-oh. Okay, let's pause. I'm gonna just take a little pause, and I'll be right back. Okay, let's see. No, I think I still see what you see. Check. Okay. Check. Nope. Yep. Yep. I see this now. Check. Check. Okay. So, haha. My apologies, folks. So what happened was my I use a VST plugin built into OBS, and it appears that the VST plugin crashed. So very much it's gone. Okay, thank you so much, Mary Lindsay and Reverb Mike. You folks are the best. Thank you for turning up and being patient. There's nothing like having folks like you. So thank you very much. So yeah, the VST plugin in OBS crashed. It was obviously not picking the right sample rate or something wackadoodle. So actually, just for your benefit, when I paused, what I did was I actually went into my system preferences and made sure all the sample rates were all set right, and they were. And then I was like, okay, this is weird. I'm going to defeat this plugin and see if it goes away, and it did. So yeah, anyway, okay, so back on track. So what I would do in this case is I would pull out the parametric equalizer, and first of all, I'd use the high pass band just to get rid of that mud in the low end. And actually, just a little feedback for the Audition developers. When you're playing audio in Audition and you move one of these EQ bands, it makes...
Check, check, check.
It makes like little clicky sounds, which as an audio person, I have to say, not desirable. This is the only plugin that does this for some reason. I don't understand why. So actually, that's pretty good. The reason why I'm saying that it's good is that there isn't a lot of background noise. There's no wind noise and there's no handling noise. And that's because I was holding it using the bottom of the shock mount and nothing was getting transmitted to the microphone. In contradistinction to, I'm going to pull up some other files. These are from the H4. Going to turn this up a little bit. So what we're hearing here is, yeah, no mic rumbles. Not a fan of clicky sounds. They're the worst. Foam is your enemy. Foam, no good. Foam doesn't work. What you're hearing there is wind noise. The other challenge that I found that I can perhaps demonstrate here is if you hold this in your hand, the case of this thing, the case of this recorder makes noise. And when you're recording something and you're holding it in your hand and you know you're nervous or your hand is shaking or something, it's terrible. However, I think were aware of this, and when this originally shipped, a little tripod mount came with this, and that's something I did see Ben Jordan doing is get a little tripod, put it down. I put it on my bicycle seat, boop, and that was fine. The other thing is, this was the best sound I captured, I thought. Is it there or is it here? So the question is at this point, is this usable? Can I do anything with this? So let's actually just try and have a go. The quick answer is sorry to spoil this, but no, there's not a lot you can do. And I'll explain why for a couple of reasons. So what I can do is put in a high pass filter to get rid of, handheld mics too. Although it's funny, some dynamics, so if you're using for rock and roll, the Shure SM58 or equivalent handheld microphone, they're designed to minimize handling noise. Or like the lav rubs against your shirt collar. Yeah, that's the worst. It's, so many meetings I've been in, online with the pandemic, and people have their dangling microphone here, and like every time they turn their head, it's like, and you're like, I don't want to interrupt them by saying anything, but anyway. Right. What was I talking about? Right. So you can put in a high pass filter here, which gets rid of a lot of the rumble. And what's great is you get this visualization. Usually you want to be careful about this actually determines the slope of the cutoff. Usually audio engineers, when they're doing music, are really fussy about not using really steep slopes because it can cause some weird issues around this cutoff frequency. But this is an improvement. And but you can hear as well too, I've got piles and piles of background noise. I've got planes in the background, even my own movement. The other reason why you can't really clean this up, and I tried doing, like if you were going to reduce the noise print, so let's pretend I'm going to do that. So you could go into this file and be like, oh, okay, I'm gonna denoise this thing like you would not believe. Oh, another thing I find odd about Audition. Oh yeah. If you hold down the Option key and scroll, you can zoom, and you can zoom at this window, but not in multi-track view. Why? I don't know. I'm sure there's a reason. I don't get it. Anyway, you could go down here and say, oh, I'm just going to grab the marquee and grab this audio. And yeah, okay, yeah, sure. Maybe we'll get rid of that, so we'll capture that as a noise print. Noise print. The current audio selection, yabba-da-da-ba-da. The next time I load the noise printy thing, it will be used as a selection. Okay, sounds good. Yes, very good. Noise reduction process. Shockingly, I'm shocked that it actually sounds that good. It's unbelievable. I tried this last night, and the challenge with using that method to remove noise is that when you're doing field recording outside, the noise is not necessarily uniform, meaning what you're capturing might be like a bit of a plane, a bit of like, there might be a bird chirping in the background. And even though you select the low part of the frequencies down there, when I listen back to it, sometimes I feel like lasso the frequency muting. Yeah, exactly. Let's put the birds back on. We'll just let that play because it's like, feels good. Oh. So now there's a plane going by. Whenever there's some sort of other sound, you get that, like, remember in the early days of MP3s, and you'd be like listening to a song, and you may have acquired it through some means that when somebody, ripped the CD, they ripped it at like 96K or 128K. You get this like weird aliasing sounding, which is like, and I find it very distracting and not pleasant. Not hearing a lot of that, though. I'm sort of shocked it sounds that good. Okay, well, my goodness. Let's commit it then. Commit! I'm going to commit this one too. Apply. Actually, I don't need the amplify on there. I'm just going to apply that parametric EQ. And then I could normalize it just to make it all nice and loud.
Did we get that?
Wow. Okay, see that tap? That was where I must have touched something, or I must have touched the recorder. Okay, so I'm going to actually copy this into a new file because I like this so much. I actually do like Audition. You can go in here and just say, copy to new. Just give me a new file. And I'm going to save that. We'll call it, I wish I knew I'm not a birder, so I don't like, it's like, birds 4. I'm very sorry. Maybe one of these days I'll learn. I do know about the red-winged blackbirds, and I do have one of those recorded. So actually, that's significantly better than I was hoping. I'm just going to pull up a multi-track file and do some comparison. So if I compare that with, let's say, what I got from the shotgun mic. There's me walking.
Shit.
Me cursing. I'm sorry. My apologies. Oh, I think it was, I was walking towards a red-winged blackbird and then it flew away. And then I was like, clearly I'm a bit of an amateur at this thing. Anyway, what we've done here is that when you get the file out from the F4 from the mid-side recording, you have, actually, I'm just going to mute these tracks. You're probably wondering why you're seeing what you're seeing. Just gonna, yeah. You've got this. That's the side. And this is the mid. This is like the front-facing microphone. Incredible. They flew right over my head. However, there's people chit-chatting in the background and not ideal. So let's see if we can clean this up at all. So what I've done here is I've got these two tracks. So this one, I think I said this was the side and this is the mid. So you can see here that this is panned right and this is panned left. And then what I've done is I've sent it, actually I have to make this a little bit bigger so you can see what I've done here. I've sent this audio to a bus, which is like it's like a way of saying, don't send this audio to the master channel first. I want you to send it to this magical other place first, so that maybe it's a way of applying effects to groups of audio without doing it destructively. So I'm going to click on this bus. And the reason why I'm doing that is that there's this magic tool in Adobe Audition. Yay! And it's called the Channel Mixer. And it's got a preset in it for dealing with surround sound in multiple different formats. It's like somebody thought of, like, yeah, clearly they've designed this product for working with surround mixes and so on and so forth, like ambisonic. My goodness, it's like, you're spoiled for choice. Anyway, there is a mid-side to stereo option, and also a stereo to mid-side, so that you could, like, I guess, take something that's in stereo, encode it to mid-side, noodle with the audio, and then re-encode it back to stereo. Anyway, this is, as I learned, there was actually a recent article on Larry Jordan about this. Excuse me. Anyway, you can turn this on. These are the defaults. So what it's doing is it's actually giving me a stereo mix from the two tracks. Because if I don't do this, I mean, I've got 2 channels of audio, but I don't have a stereo image exactly. Because that... You can see, you can hear now that's in front of us, because that's where it, in the stereo field, that's where it's supposed to be. Anyway, so I was like sort of enamored with this tool until I wasn't quite sure about it. So I thought, okay, so how would I have done this otherwise? Well, I'm going to mute these 2 tracks, and then I'm going to go down below. So what you actually have to do ordinarily is you duplicate the side track and then you put one out of phase. So here in Audition, there's a nice handy dandy phase button. Thank you, Audition. You can just click that and then it puts it out of phase. And then you pan them left and right. You leave the center channel in the middle. And then what it allows you to do is to change the stereo field.
Shit.
Sorry. It's going to follow me around this whole time. Let's listen to the geese. The geese are... No, they're not geese. They were swans. Okay, great stuff. Now, what do we want to do with this? I like these recordings. So what I did do was... yeah, exactly. This is going to be like a string of my various cursing through this thing as I trudge around where I'm like, did you get that? So in these cases, generally what I would do is drop in a parametric EQ and like filter out some of those frequencies. I was a bit despondent about... I wasn't completely blown away by some of these audio tracks. Actually, I'll play some of the waves as well too. Here, let's actually go and listen to them. So this is a good example where I'd want to clean this up. I'm just going to select these tracks. Doop, 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 doop. Oh, actually, no. I want to... Ooh, oh, God. Okay. No. I'm going to send this to a different mix bus. Let's add a bus. Let's add a stereo bus. There we go. Very good. Okay. Can I move it? No. Yes, I can. Yes, I can. Move it down. Come on. There we go. Okay. So now I'm going to send this to mix bus B, just because I'm feeling sort of that way. And then I can actually then drop in here a parametric EQ. Oh, see, this is my mistake before. This is why I say turn off all these bands, because you never know what band you're grabbing. I always grab this band. That's the low shelf band. It's the wrong band. You want this one. So that sounds pretty good. I'm going to pause here for a second, and actually what I might do is actually switch to Premiere, because I thought, well, it'd be great to have some images that go... Harpo Marx's horn, yeah, complete. And we played the Red-winged Blackbird, didn't we? Yeah, I think we did. Open recent. Oh, there's only so many files. Okay, now we're things are going to get weird, and I want everyone to... I'm going to show you something that, like, I feel it's like a secret trick for making ambient music. Let's listen to some of these things, these things that I was shaking and baking. Here we go. Let's open this in Audition. So I've just isolated that one sound. Let's have a go with the swans. Okay, so you've heard that. There's another... Oh, we've got some waves here. Okay. So the other thing that I ran into... So wind, other people, handling noise. So this thing has a shock mount, which I don't know is around here somewhere, and it's fine. But one of the reasons why you want to buy a blimp is that these things are so sensitive that moving the cable that's attached to this, you can hear every time, like if you move it like this, you will hear the cable creak. And I never, unless you monitor the audio and you're doing this stuff and you're moving around, it's very distracting. So that's what I think this was. So I thought, well, how can I take these sounds and I want to create this kind of dreamy scene with images and sound where I'm going to manipulate the audio. I'm going to use the sound effects as a source for further exploration. And what I started doing was grabbing these tracks and I started applying a lot of third-party plugins, manipulating them so that you can change the sound. But I'm going to show you one that can be done natively in in Audition. That is amazing. And now I'm getting the spinning beach ball. So let's say I want to take this sound and I want to make it like a long droney thing. I'm going to show you this trick. I used to do this in using a piece of software called SoundHack. Is anyone familiar with SoundHack? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the convolution reverb in Audition. I'm going to give a somewhat inaccurate description as to what convolution reverb does, but essentially my understanding of what it does is it takes an impulse file, which is usually just like a clap or something like that in a large space, like it's an actual recording of somebody clapping with the reverb tail, and then it uses digital processing to basically transform your audio through that sound in order to create the reverb space. Sort of following me? So like the reverb that you're hearing is based on an impulse response, like a clap or something like that, which is like a sample of what the reverb sounds like in another space. So like here, I'll use this one called, we'll just pick a hall reverb. Okay, so that's cool. That's the way that you would normally use reverb. But what if you're like, I don't want that. What I want to do is destroy this sound entirely and make it into this dreamy soundscape. Well, many convolution reverbs allow you to add your own impulse response if you have them stored. And on the internet, you can download, if you do a search for reverb impulse responses, there are many recordings out there of various different spaces, and you can add your own impulse response to create your own reverb sound. And it's great. It occurred to me some time ago that there's nothing requiring you to use a proper impulse response. What if I just load the sound that I was working on of the red-winged blackbird, and I use the red-winged blackbird as an impulse response? I'm going to set the room size to about 20, and I'm going to roll the tape head back. Bizarre, right? It gets even weirder as the tracks get longer. So let me find actually this. So this one's like 20 seconds. Let's pick this one. Oh, let's hear that again. I'm going to make it longer. The longer you make the room size, it's basically using more of the sample. Whoa! So I've used this before. Even if you have a sample of like a piece, like a note or something that's quite long, and then you run a real sound through it, you can make these incredible sounding things. So it's like jingling bells, yeah. So I'll give you a taste of what I did here. You could do all kinds of bananas things. There's some, if you feel like investing in additional plugins, you can. Let's actually pick the Red Wing Blackbirds. The craziest plugin for manipulating sounds that I've found recently is by Sound Toys, and they have this thing called the Crystallizer. It's like, I think they call it, what is it, like a granular echo synthesizer. And I will. You could take a sound like that and make it like this. Oh, that's too slow. Sorry. Actually, you know what I need to do is I need to add some silence after this. Insert. Silence. Let's add 10 seconds of silence. That's okay. Definitely weird. What is even happening? I don't know. Anyway, you can do some very strange things with this. The result is I basically created a lot of these ambient tracks. And then I'm going to quit out of Audition. Say no to all. An error occurred. You don't say. Yes, please contact me. Okay, so then what I did was I shot a bunch of video, which, let's take a look at the video. So I've never done this before, but I used a very long lens. It's not there. It's basically like a 70 to 300. Used it at the maybe shortest focal length. Silence is in my faves, yeah, completely. And I put it on a monopod. And then I rotated the camera slightly. That's a bad example. Oof. I apologize. I'm just going to turn down the audio so you don't have to listen to that. All I did is I had this on a monopod and I was just rotating it very slowly. The optical image stabilization was so good in the lens that it was great for video. And the result, I'm just going to turn this up. The result is this. Oh, actually, let me just play. I'll just play the audio I have first. Oh. Oh, let's play the video anyway. Let's just do it. Oh. Thank you, Mary Lindsay. So I'm just going to dial down the audio level there. So again, I was thinking from a creative standpoint, this is really about juxtaposition. It's about contrasting something that you're seeing in an image with a different soundtrack. It's like a horror movie. Oh, what are the guides on the video? I think I put those on there because I was doing some titles at the end. I was like, I need to give it a name, and we're gonna call it new text. And I think I just dragged those on there from the side. Sometimes I drag on a guide so that I can kind of see where I'm putting things. Does that make sense? Yeah, completely. The aliens are landing. Go. Let's get rid of the guides. Oh, let's get rid of the guides. Mary's right. It's a distraction. Yeah. Yeah, Mike, it's like either the boat got stuck again or like you're on Horror Island and you need to get to the boat to get away. In any case, what can I say about this? Like, yeah, I grabbed a few of these files, turned them into exciting things. Here's another one. I think this is the same one again. Yeah, and then this is the straight up geese. And then what I have here is an adjustment layer on top of my video so that with a Lumetri, some filters. Actually, let's just switch over to color grading. Oh, where's the thing? Oh, yeah. You know what? No. I forgot that I did not dock the... There we go. Whoa! There we go. Much better. Yeah, it is a fun thing to do. And I think I might do a bit more field recording because I now... Basically, I've done it all wrong so that in order I can do it right. And this is such a neat place. I'll just turn down the audio. It's actually a landfill, and you can see it here. These are like old bricks and things that they've built this, like it's clean landfill. And then they've built this wetland in the middle of it. And that's Toronto in the background. But the beach is all like tangled rebar and all this crazy stuff. You put the horror film blue filter. Yeah, okay, let's do that. Okay, let's horror film blue filter coming up. Doop 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 doop. Creative. We've got the Fuji Eterna 250D. Blue cold. Oh yeah. Now we're talking. Let's like jack up the intensity a little bit. I actually did modify the shadow tint and the highlight tint a little bit. We can make it a little... Yeah, that's a bit much. I like it when you get contrasting highlight tint and shadow tint. Of course, we need more vignettes. Heavy vignette. You got to be careful about how Ugh! Or we could go black and white. The zombie filter and magic bullet. I'm not familiar with that one. Oh, that's good. Noir. Anyway, that's about all I got. So I think to sum up, if you're gonna do this, it's totally fun to do. It's just like walking around and engaging in the act of photography, except you're recording audio. Really helps to have the like basic wind protection. Definitely. If you have a handheld recorder like this, it's fine. You just can't touch it. And make sure you get a dead cat cover for them. A lot of them do come with them now. If you do have a shotgun microphone, if you have a blimp, that's probably better than this. Or don't move it, because it will create noise. As soon as you're like, oh, there's a bird, it'll go creak. As soon as you move it, creak. And yeah, be creative, stay healthy, and stay fun. So with that, I just want to tell you, all of you devoted people, you know, stay safe and stay sane out there. It's weird times. It's the weirdest times. And Reverb Mike and Mary Lindsay, you're the best people ever. Literally the best. For today, at least. I appreciate you turning up, and your comments are great. And I hope that you learned something out of this. Use that convolution trick, especially if you record music with it and you filter music through bird sounds or bird sounds through music or something like that. You can get these long wow, wow, wow noises. And actually, I made a lot of work from actually during my graduate degree. I used SoundHack, which I think runs on Mac OS 9. I made a lot of pieces that have that kind of droney sound, and you can make some amazing sounding things. So, in fact, I can, if you go to my Vimeo page, this is a really old Vimeo page. There's a piece here that I shot in SD. We're gonna let that play us out. So you folks be chill out there. Stay safe and stay sane. Continue to be creative. Use the tools you have. Don't use the tools you don't have. Borrow some tools. I agree with you. You really got to make software weird. And by making it weird, you can do weird things with it. And feel weird and feel okay. Anyway. With that, thank you, Mike. Thank you, Mary. Have a great day. Catch you next time.